and welcome to the 2021 San Francisco Civic Music Association's Friends and Family Summer Concert entitled Music of the Pandemic. It's wonderful to see so many of your beautiful faces here today on the internet. My name is Arun, Saigal, and I have the privilege of going on this musical journey with you tonight, this afternoon, this morning, whenever you may be viewing this. It's so great to be back, making music in person tonight, safely for the first time since this crazy pandemic we've been experiencing. Now, I'll tell you more about us later, but let's jump right into the music. First off, you just heard the Overture to the Barber of Seville. Gioachino Rossini is an Italian composer who was once the leading figure in Italian opera. His dominance was established at an incredible pace during the years 1810 to 1829. He averaged 2 operas a year for 19 years, and sometimes composed and supervised the music for 4 or 5 productions in 1 year. He had brought the opera buffa, or comedic operas, to its peak, and had also a number of great opera serio works, i.e. serious dramatic opera works, as well. I would argue his 2 best known overtures are the one we just heard, and the overture to his last opera, Guillaume Tell, aka the overture to William Tell. One of the craziest things is that he lived for another 40 years after he wrote that last opera and wrote little music during that time, meaning for the vast majority of his life, he did not actually write music in operas, which is crazy when you realize his first opera was performed at 18 and he died at age 76. Now, we began our show today with the overture to Il Barbiere di Seville, aka the Barber of Seville. He wrote this opera at age 23, and it took him somewhere between 12 days and 3 weeks to write it. Different accounts say different things. Despite being hissed at its opening, it is his most popular work by the number of times it's been played, etc. Now, given how much music Rossini produced, it may not be surprising that he recycled and reused a lot of his music. He would have fit in great in San Francisco since he was into music and into recycling. Sorry, terrible joke. This music was the curtain raiser actually from 2 earlier Rossini operas, Aureliano de Palmera and Elisabetta Regina d'Inghilterra, and thus contains none of the thematic material actually in the opera Il Barbiere di Seville. So I won't talk much more about it because not really related. Anyways, this piece follows the structure of the typical Rossini overture: slow introduction, quick main section with 2 themes repeated, and then concluding cadences. Following each statement of the lyrical second theme, you could hear the famous Rossini Crescendo, where there's not just an increase in volume, but a buildup of orchestral forces, upward movement of pitch, increase in articulation, and increasingly rapid rhythmic patterns.